everybody. Ella J here on behalf of Bell to Bells, and today I am joined by not America's sweetheart, Davienne. So how are you doing today, Davie?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, considering the world has been in shambles this last year. I'm doing pretty good. I really can't complain much. I'm still here. We're still striving and thriving. So for you personally, though, how have you managed to stay positive or maybe sane throughout this last year of craziness in the world?
So I've really been lucky that I have been able to have a lot of freedom in my life the past year. My school was only had to close for maybe like 6 weeks or so. So we were able to still run like limited training classes, and then very shortly after that, like we started doing closed studio tapings with wrestling. And that's what brings me the most joy in my life. So to be able to just take this year and really just be immersed in pro wrestling, like I've really enjoyed it.
And
I
a
know a lot
lot
of people haven't, but I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, a lot has changed for you though recently, especially in regards to the status of the girls' room, unfortunately, which was the faction of yourself, Skylar, and Ava Everett, as now the future of the girls' room is basically shattered. So, what are your thoughts on the breakup of the girls' room and Ava's turn and new attitude, kind of?
Man, Ava just did a 180. She moved to Florida and she was like, bye.
Mhm.
So I mean, I feel like if I wasn't at the brunt of her being evil, I would love this change for her. She looks incredible. But that attitude's gotta go. She's rude, she's evil, like every bad adjective, that girl is it.
Especially too with the history of you two, like that turn was really, really shocking. Granted, it makes for a great storyline in wrestling, but girl, you guys have so much history.
Yeah, we do. I like she's my best friend. She was my best friend. Like I was gonna be the maid of honor in her wedding. And then all of a sudden, she just decides, I'm over you. But everything's my fault. Like everything was my fault. Like,
Mhm.
okay, Ava, whatever. Maybe look at yourself.
Maybe it really
Little
came.
reflection in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. It really came out of nowhere. Again, though, you guys, at least you two do bring out the best of each other, at least in ring performance wise. And there was a lot at stake in kind of your grudge match. And so, how were you going into that really? Obviously, you were fresh off her basic betrayal on you, and you're like in this new dynamic where you're former friends now.
Yeah. I think it was tricky for me because going into that, I still wanted to be friends with her. I was like, you know what? Maybe we're just gonna have to fight it out and we can apologize after and then just water under the bridge. Um, but that was not the case with her. She attacked me from behind. She was just super aggressive. Like that style of wrestling, I really wasn't prepared for. She was hyper aggressive, and usually I'm more of an aggressor in the ring. Um, she just showed me that she was literally a whole new person. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be friends with that girl anymore. She's not the same girl that I was friends with that I thought was, my best friend for life. Not the same human being at all. So I was like, okay, I need to rid this toxicity from my life. Um, I beat her in the 2 out of 3 falls match, which she rolled my neck up in a car window. What a psychopath. Um, and I wash my hands of her. She keeps tweeting at me, and I'm like, girl, you say I'm obsessed with you, and she's probably gonna freak out over this interview, being like, she's obsessed with me. But she tweets at me like every single day. And it's like, I am done with you. I've had
Alexa,
it.
play Obsessed by Mariah Carey.
Period.
So yeah, the girls' room per se is no more. So if you could then reinvent yourself and Skylar in another stable, who do you kind of fantasize about putting in the mix with yourself and Skylar then?
That's honest. It's a great question because I would say Becca. Um, but then Ava had to get involved with me and Becca and make us fight. Um, so I guess we're just gonna have to see after Sunday how me and Becca's relationship goes. But that would be ideal. Also random insertion into this little stable, but Aaron Rourke is fantastic. Aaron is just like Blossom, and I'm Buttercup, and then we'll just have to move Skylar to Bubbles to replace Ava.
Skylar's gonna have to dye her hair.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. He would just be perfect in the stable. But so either Becca or Aaron.
Okay. Becca is already blonde, so she perfectly fits those shoes, but you're also kind of part of the Scrunchie Squad already. So I don't know if it would be the girls' room or would Skylar just be joining the Scrunchie Squad. It's kind of like a little black and like little gray area there.
Gonna like merge the two.
Merge them together.
We'll marry the two. Maybe the Scrunchie room. No.
Now, talking about you and Skylar specifically as the top dogs, though, you two are getting back into action again as a tag team now, as you have stuff coming up at Blitzkrieg and you are kind of reestablishing yourself in the tag team game. So, what are your hopes or goals going forward with Skylar as a part of the top dogs?
Well, I genuinely hope she's the woman tag partner that doesn't turn on me. That's my
fair.
I'm proceeding with caution with tag partners as of late. But yeah, I would love to I don't know, just keep killing it with her. She's dipping her toe back into wrestling. So we'll just I don't like to plan ahead. I just like to just take things as they come.
Okay.
So that is what exactly I'm thinking of doing. But yeah, I just don't want her to turn on me.
Fingers crossed. We don't want it. We're not manifesting that. No, please don't. Now, if the top dogs though could have any celebrity be their manager for an evening, who would you book to represent the top dogs and why?
Jennifer Lopez. Because she's an icon.
See, Skylar thought you were gonna say a country artist.
Oh, I mean, I would say Chase Rice. He's not really like a great manager, but like I would like to go on a date with him. But for a manager, like there is no bigger top dog than Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo is a queen. So I just want to like be her and be around her and maybe just like touch her, maybe get some of that beauty and like youth and talent, and I just want to be in her presence.
I love how you say youth when you're the younger one.
I know. She looks so young.
She is absolutely an icon, and honestly, I don't know how she's like 50 years old. She looks like she's 30. We need her secrets.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I'm like, okay, J-Lo, you're just God's favorite. That's fine.
Okay. Now, in that regard, then speaking of like music, then maybe imagine like Jennifer Lopez and like Chase Rice like collab.
Oh, I would be so here for that. I would probably die. I'd be so here for that. It'd be incredible.
It would.
Country and hip hop crossovers are so good. If anybody has a problem with it, they can talk to me because they're so good.
Hit up Davey, guys. Seriously, though.
Look at Nelly. Like, Nelly is a hip-hop icon. And he's like, I love country music. It's so fun. So, you have a problem, you can come to me or Nelly.
Now, just speaking like on the broad scope of music, obviously the pandemic has hindered a lot of concerts. So, what has actually been the last concert you've been to, or do you have any coming up?
The last concert I went to was Chase Rice in Hampton Beach. I want to say that was May 2019.
Oh my God, it's so long ago.
I know. And I was on a kick of like, you have to go to one at least once a year.
Yeah, same.
So I had seen Luke Bryan like 8 times. And then I had seen Sam Hunt when I vacationed in Nashville. I've seen Dierks Bentley And I've seen Chase, I want to say 3 or 4 times now. So
Okay. So you're
yeah.
basically a country expert.
Yes. Yes.
Who would then you say is the GOAT in country music, the greatest of all time?
The greatest to me is a tie
Okay.
between Kenny Chesney and Luke Bryan. Like Luke, like so Kenny was like my original love in country, and like I got picked on in middle school for like country music, so I just like stopped listening to it.
Aw.
And then in high school, one of my friends was from Virginia, and she was very big into country. And I was like, oh my God, like I used to love Kenny Chesney, like let's put him on. And then she introduced me to Luke Bryan. And I was like, whoa, I can't stop listening to Tailgates and Sandlines. Like it's such a great album. So like Kenny was my original love, and then Luke reinvigorated my love. But my favorite artist now is Chase Rice. His style is very different, which I really appreciate. He's not like strictly any kind of country, and he writes all his own stuff. I feel like he was like an underdog for a bit, so I just really just love him that he wrote with Florida Georgia Line, and they like took off, and he didn't. He had to like fight from underneath. So I'm like, oh, what a good story.
You know what's funny though? I love country music, but I hadn't even heard of Chase Rice until he came on Survivor like 10 years ago. It was like 10,
Yes.
12 years ago. That was my first introduction to Chase Rice, ironically.
I can't. I rewatched like when Survivor came on Hulu in the pandemic. I've never seen Survivor at all. I just watched his season.
Honestly though, that is not the best first season to start off with. That season is really underwhelming.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
not
like,
gonna lie.
this show is boring.
Yeah, no, that season is really not one of the best seasons if you're talking Survivor. But if you're gonna watch it for Chase
Yeah,
Rice, then like he made it to the final three. Spoiler alert,
right.
whatever. It's like
Exactly.
12 years later, you
Right. If you
know.
haven't seen
But
it, like,
yeah.
sorry. But I was like, if he was eliminated like first round, I would have been like, okay, bye. I would have watched the reunion just to like see him again. But like he made it. So
Yeah.
thing.
It's cool though that like they've obviously integrated like wrestlers like Ashley Massaro has been on it. John Morrison, John Hennigan has been on Survivor too. So it's cool that they take people from all different walks of life. Like they've had former athletes, they've had music stars, they've had wrestlers. It's really cool sometimes the people that they bring in.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, I am so sorry that that was the first season you watched. That's really an underwhelming season as a
The one and
Survivor fan
only
who's
season, yeah.
seen them all. That not the best one, but you know, whatever. Switching gears here though, talking about fantasy booking like we were talking about before, is there any match stipulation that you would like to tackle that you have not yet?
I really want to do a casket match, and I want to do it with Ava Everett.
Kind of a little callback to Ava Taker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how
Like,
she feels about that now that she's your favorite icon.
yeah, well, too bad. We're about to bury her. Yeah, I also really want to do an Inferno match, which I was thinking of combining the casket and the fire, like light it on fire after whoever loses.
A little homage to your favorite Randy Orton there. Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So pandemic has definitely made me a little bit more wild.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, yeah, give me the fire, give me a casket match. But I've done a lot of stipulations in wrestling. I've done a steel cage, I've done a last woman standing, I've done a hardcore match. I've did an Iron Man match. It was like a fatal 4-way, but still is a thing. I feel like I've done I never want to do a ladder match. I'm afraid. I'm too afraid of heights.
But you're not afraid of fire?
No, fire is like whatever. You could just pat it. It's fine. The heights thing, I can fall. I like to be on the ground. Yeah. So I really those are like the two that I would like to do.
Okay.
Somebody has to build me a casket.
I mean, somebody's got to book that again. You're literally giving them the writing right there for Ava Everett. I think you guys need another go around.
I had already decided that if this match happens, I'm gonna get gear that's dedicated to Kane.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm gonna be Kane and I'm going to put her in a casket. She used to want to be the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, RIP to the Ava Taker.
Now, speaking about like wild stipulations, what is the wildest or craziest stipulation match that you have watched or maybe competed in? Because I've heard
Um,
some pretty wild ones recently, so I want to know what's the craziest that you've seen?
Scene. Oh man. I watched this insane death match the other
Oh
day.
gosh.
I don't know if it was just like the stipulation was crazy, but the content
Okay. Tell us
of
more.
the death match was insane. I forget the name of the guy, but there's this wrestler, Super Oprah, in it. I guess it's been around for like 20 years. I have just discovered her. And wow, it was wild. Like this guy she's wrestling is very openly gay. And he comes out with in the entrance like a rainbow float, and it's very elaborate. And then they just start biting each other in the crotch. And I was like, what is going? And then light tubes, and it was absolutely insane. Um Lots of barbed wire, like just crazy. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, you're literally wearing like fur rainbow kick pads, and then and you come up with a float, and then you're just gonna be doing death match stuff. It was crazy. It was so unexpected. The biting of the crotch spots were wild. I was
Go big or go home, I guess, especially if it's a death match.
like, what is happening? But yeah.
The things that wrestlers will do for our entertainment is wild, and we appreciate it though, but
I
safety
was like,
first, definitely.
I was like, damn, the West Coast is insane. It was like California or something.
Oh, okay.
The worst stipulation I've ever been in was like a strap match. Because I didn't know what was happening. I just like got there like it's a strap match, and I was like, excuse me, what? And then the strap was too short.
Oh
So we had to be
no.
like really close, like whip each other. So it was just like bad.
So even if you hit them, you would kind of take the brunt of the momentum shifting forward too. You'd like fall
Yeah.
together
And it's just like,
essentially.
I was just like, oh man, this is just very poorly planned. But yeah.
Okay. That's definitely up there of the wildest ones I've heard too. I've heard some pretty crazy ones recently. But
Oh, I bet.
yeah, it's wild. But switching gears here to a very relevant topic right now, a lot of conversation about the rise in all women's shows and brands. So, as a wrestler, as a female wrestler yourself who has competed in all women's shows like Alley Cat's Real Hot Girl Shit, what are your thoughts on this emergence of all women's shows and promotions?
I love it. It's great. Like, there are a lot of women now, and they should be featured. So I am all for it. It's great. Women running promotion, like women should just be like more in charge. And I mean, I wouldn't hate if there was like an all woman show and there was an intergender match. Like, I think those are special.
Mhm.
Well, I personally love intergender wrestling, or like a mixed tag. Like WWR has now changed to WWR Plus to, now feature non-binary wrestlers. So I think like I wouldn't want to loop like, oh, just because it's an all-woman show, then these members of the LGBTQ community should be looped in as well.
Yeah.
I just think like everybody's talented. So let's just have talented people on the show that are special in their own diverse character and can provide entertainment. Like, it's awesome. And usually women like are more like, I don't know, we could just have a different outlook, different mindset, because like we're different. So let's have our ideas out in the open. Let's be creative. Let's have these girls run shows or have all woman shows. It's just to the benefit of everybody to just get a little bit of, like, wrestling is so special because there's something for everyone. If you don't like intergender wrestling, you don't have to watch it. Like, I'm like if you like tag team wrestling, perfect. Like they'll be tag team. Like there are great women's tag teams. If you like this, you like this. There's something for everybody. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. Like it's fine.
Especially too in like this literally male dominated industry for decades. Like you said, even like women or people who identify other than male getting at least some like recognition and representation is a huge step. And so I think that this emergence of these shows is really, really powerful and really, really empowering, like you said.
Right, exactly. It's just so great. And then even like like smaller shows or something that aren't all women
Yeah.
promotions, you're seeing women prominently featured in like a main event storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also other women in other storylines. So it's like it doesn't have to just be one girl on the show anymore or one woman's match. Like women can be in every single story, which is super cool to me.
Now, theoretically, if you were in charge of your own show, who would be the main event, whether it's a past or current talent in professional wrestling?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna be that really crappy booker who books themselves in the main event, but it would be me versus Trish Stratus.
Okay, that doesn't shock me as I know she is one of your favorite, if not your favorite of all
She
time.
is. She is. And if I could also do like another like dream, it would probably be like a tag. Oh my gosh. It would be me, Ava when she was nice, and Becca against Trish Stratus, Mickey James, and Beth Phoenix.
Oh my God. I
That would be
love that. I mean, honestly, though, all three can still go, though, of
right?
Mickey, Trish, and Beth. All three still can go.
Like I still think about Trish's evolution gear. Like,
Mhm.
oh, what an icon. It was gorgeous. I
Mhm.
was just, oh, I love her. I love her so much. But all three of them are fantastic. I actually stole my finish from Beth Phoenix.
Oh, I can see that.
She randomly did it on a Raw
Uh-huh.
to games, and I was like, ooh, and I took it. So thank you, Beth.
Now, Bell to Bells is all about empowering. Well, you kind of already answered this question, but we're going to go for it anyways. Bell to Bells is all about empowering and emboldening women's wrestling. So, is there any females in your personal or professional life besides Trish Stratus who empowers or inspires you the most?
So my mom is very important to me. She's incredible. She's had to deal with a lot in her life. And she raised me all on her own and three other children. I'm one of four. To be incredible people. She never forced me to do like anything I didn't want to do. She didn't make me like go to college. She always supported my wrestling and she knew I loved it. And she's my number one fan. So she is my biggest inspiration. She has been very sick the past couple of years. She's kind of okay. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But she fights every single day a battle that nobody else has to. But she gets up every day and she lives her life and she fights, and so she's a huge inspiration to me. And the students at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, I've been able to take a larger role in the training there. With the pandemic, like I've been able to take a larger role with less demanding work hours. And like Paris Vandale, Becca, we have a new student, Shannon, this new student, Samantha, who's been around for like maybe a month, but there's so much potential. Like they literally just make me my heart swell. Like they care so much and they're so talented, and like they just the future is so bright with them in it, and it just makes me so happy.
And again, too, it's like a weird dynamic because again, it's not like you've been around for very much longer than them, like just a few years, but you're kind of you, Ava, even Skylar in the New England era are kind of the veterans now and are really looked upon too. So that's something that had to have been maybe a little bit challenging to like get used to because again, you're still learning yourself, like you said, and
Oh yeah.
everything, but it's really empowering that you're kind of able to teach them and empower and embolden them, and them in turn inspire you, like you said.
Yeah, it's so funny. We just said this past weekend that I need to get a school bus for all my children. Like, roll up to a show and be like, I brought my babies. Like, yeah, I mean, not even just the female students, like we have the male students too who come to me, and it's just it's so weird that they come to me, but it's just like, wow, they don't care that I'm a girl. They just know that I'm me and they respect my opinion. And that to me, like, it's just mind-boggling. I'm just like, okay, I'm just, faking it till I make it, guys.
I know how that goes.
It just makes my heart so full, and I just love them. I love them all so much.
But don't discredit yourself. This kind of leads into my last question. You're doing amazing things. So as a wrestler on the PWI's top 100 women's list last year, how do you think you have or will better or elevate yourself even more so you can kind of keep climbing up in the ranks?
Yeah, like this past year, I don't like something just kind of clicked in my brain, and I was like, wow, this is weird.
You're good, Davy. You're amazing.
Thank you. All of a sudden, my matches stopped being 6 to 8 and they started being 12 to 15, and they started having bigger storylines and just, getting more buzz, I guess. And it's just like, man, this is so weird, but like things are clicking. Like, and I feel like I'm having the best matches I have ever had. I'm having the most fun I've ever had. And I just love wrestling so much. Absolutely every aspect of it makes me happy. Being able to like get new gear. I love getting new gear. I hate rhinestone in my gear. I love how it looks after. I just like colored my hair to do something different. I just love being able to just evolve Davienne. And before I would say like before the pandemic, I was just kind of like, yeah, just keep like doing your thing, living your life, because it was very hard for me to like make the time for everything of what I was doing. And pandemic gave me a lot of time to really focus on what I do love, and I love wrestling, and I want it to be my life and my full-time job. So I really got to delve into the creative aspect of it, when before I was just like, oh, this is what you're doing on this show. And then like when it was studio tapings, and I got to have more creative control and be able to be like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do that, and have more involvement with like promos, getting better at talking. And it was just like, man, like this is so fun. I just love it so much. And I want to do more crazy things, and I want to have longer matches, and I want people to just like love watching me because I love doing it. So I think this year, my goal for this year was to also be on the 500 list. I've participated in a lot more intergender matches, so fingers crossed I've done enough to be in the 500. But I think I've made the most out of the pandemic to be able to get my name out there and show that I do deserve to be higher up on the list. I was very honored to be on it at all. But I'm just like, yeah, I can hang with the top 100. So
Yeah, and like you said, you've been popping up everywhere, obviously with Limitless and Chaotic, which are basically your homes, but you've also popped up on AEW and have had opportunities, and you're still discovering and expanding yourself on the independent scene. So you've had a lot of opportunities, and you said, you've been able to capitalize and have really, really cool storylines, like with the Scrunchie Squad and now with Ava going on. You have a lot of stuff going on, so you're doing a lot, and you can definitely see that, like, your passion and that you're motivated and you're doing everything very, very well. So if you, I honestly don't see a world where you don't make it onto either list. I really think there's a high potential for you too. I believe in you.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, before I let you go, Davy, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on all your social medias?
Yes. I'm really bad at Facebook, but I do have a like page. I believe it's Facebook / Not America's Sweetheart. My personal one, please just like leave alone. Unless we personally know each other. On Instagram and Twitter, I am at Davienne __. If you just put in 1_ it should come up, but there's 2. Yeah, that's all my socials.
Do you have any place where people can support you merch wise?
Yes, I do. So I have a Big Cartel store. I actually just printed out 4 new 8x10s. Yes. Those are available. I think I only have 1 Top Dogs pin left. And I have some Top Dogs t-shirts. I do have to get around to making Davienne shirts again. But that store is like shop.davienne.bigcartel. It comes up on Google. And then my pro wrestling tees store, you can just search Davienne, and that has some exclusive designs on there.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today again, Davy. It's been a huge pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so good to talk to you again.
I know it's been a minute, but
It's been way too
you have
long.
been flourishing and doing amazing things. So I look forward to seeing you continue to thrive and be so successful.
Oh, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry.
And don't forget to follow myself at It's Ella J on Twitter and Bell to Bells for more exclusive interviews. Again, Davy, thank you so much. It is a pleasure as always.
Thank you. You too.